Hey guys, once again welcome to the lecture series on ethical hacking. So in the previous lectures videos of the fourth unit especially, we are mainly talking about the first part of the syllabus, like we will be mainly talking about the session hijacking, transport layer level hijacking, application level hijacking, and all these particular hijackings. What are the different type of tools that has been available, and what are the different type of countermeasures that we are going to use or else realize so that not to have these particular attacks as an ethical hacker. Next, in the second part of the syllabus, we'll be mainly talking about the DOS attacks. DOS and moreover DDoS attacks also. What exactly the DOS attacks is of? DOS stands for denial of service. So already we have gone through these denial of service attacks in the case of active attacks and the network security, cryptography, or information security syllabus. So in connection to that, we will be discussing in detail how these particular DOS attacks will be occurred, and not only DOS attacks, how we are going to have the DDoS attacks also, distributed denial of service attack. First of all, going with the DOS attack, a small introduction. Next, we will be going with the DDoS. We will be concentrating about the DDoS, which is very much new for you. So in the case of DOS attacks, DOS, denial of service. Don't think it is a disk operating system. Okay, the DOS attacks, how they will be working is nothing but whenever the legitimate sender want to make some sort of query processing, want to access some sort of data from the servers. Okay, the server will be having some sort of capability or else a capacity. So it can serve only 10,000 requests in a single instant of time. It is a maximum capacity. For example, 10,000 requests in a single instant of time can be processed by the server with its own capability. What is a operating system or also hardware that has been used by them? It may be supercomputer, mainframe computer, any sort of thing, for example. Okay, now the client, whenever it is in need, they will be accessing the data, they will be making some sort of query processing, everything will be happening in the case of normal legitimate communication. Now, these attackers, what they will be doing, in order to deny the required service for the legitimate users, these attackers will be pumping multiple requests to the server and making server busy. Suppose if this particular attacker is pumping millions of requests beyond the threshold limit of the server, at that particular same instant of time, if server is, if normal legitimate client is sending some sort of request, that cannot be processed, as because already server is busy in processing the request that has been transmitted by the attackers. So that's why only we'll be using different type of firewall mechanism, countermeasures, and all these things. This is about the small attack, how it will be going to occur in our network. So in connection to that thing, we'll be discussing about the distributed denial of service attack. Here, we'll not be having a single source. Suppose in my distributed environment, or else a distributed systems, or else a distributed network, where it is a combination of multiple networks. So a server has been available in one particular network. So from the attackers, not only from the same network, from different type of source or from different type of networks, they will be pumping requests to the same server and making the server busy. Automatically, at that instant of time, the server will not be having the capability to process the request. This is how the distributed denial of service attack will be occurred. So the attack will be happen from multiple attackers from multiple sources. That's why we are calling it as a distributed. Unlike to the normal DOS attacks, here the DDoS attacks will be launched from many compromised systems simultaneously. So from multiple networks, we will be getting the huge gush of requests, making server busy. So these particular things can be automated by using of the botnets. So everywhere we are using nowadays chatbots or also botnets. Okay, so the attacker control the total, he will be gaining the control over the supervisor control over the entire network or else entire system. So from there, they will be pumping them millions of requests, making the server busy. These particular requests will be automatically generated, developing a huge amount of gush of traffic, huge amount of massive of traffic. Okay, so they will be mainly targeting the servers, especially in the client server communication. Beyond its expectations, beyond its threshold limit, they will be pumping millions of or else excessive requests will be forwarded for the source and making that particular source or else that particular receiver making it as a busy. Not only making the server busy, it also unnecessarily makes a network traffic to be get congested. And these are some of the situations. So these particular things will be are very much hard to detect. and moreover it is very hard to mitigate also to get compromised. And because of these things, performance degradation may be occurred. There is a chance of having the downtime of the server. Sometimes we can see a small example, degrading the big billion sales or Diwali sales. Sometimes once we are using the Amazon e-commerce websites or else via the mobile or else browsers, we'll be getting some sort of dog symbol. Okay, server is busy. Please communicate after some time. So at that particular instant of time, server is busy. It is in downtime. That implies a trusted client like me is not in a position to access the data from those particular servers. So generally, in the case of client server communication, or else in the case of cloud communication, we will be clearly maintaining the policy, rules and regulations. Once the request has been sent, within minute of seconds itself, we have to get the required services. If there is a small delay in that particular service also, the service provider has to pay $1 million as a penalty. Well, because it is not in a position to provide the required services within the stipulated amount of time. Okay, because of these particular denial of service attacks. So this is how the attacks will be occurred, whether we are going with the denial of service or also distributed denial of service. So how these botnets will work? Mainly the attackers will be using this particular botnet technology, okay, to attack the required or else to implement the DOS attacks. A botnet, so chatbot is very much different. Okay, in the case of chatbots, what I'll be doing, I'll be pumping some sort of request, and the bot, which is an automated machine, will be sending the required replies for me. In most of the cases, most of the banking applications, most of the websites nowadays, we'll be seeing some sort of bot. Okay, so without human intervention itself, for the regular queries that has been asked by the client, they will be providing some sort of answers, not to make the server busy. Is the first level of truncating the total performance degradation. But in the case of botnets, what they will do, these particular attackers, they will be doing is nothing but they will be gaining control over the entire network or also multiple networks. And all the systems that has been there in these particular networks are compromised. And from these multiple terminals, they will be pumping multiple millions of requests. Okay, this is how the botnets will be operated. Okay, they will be, it's a collection of compromised computers or also smartphones, even the IoT device, any sort of electronic gadget that has been connected to the internet. From these things, attacker will be attacking the required systems. So they will be controlled by the bot master. They will be having a centralized controlling authority like admins. Those particular persons will be called as a bot masters. They will be managing entire botnets. When to pump the request, okay, how many number of requests has to be transmitted to make the server busy, and what should be the transmission delay between each individual request, and how this particular request should behave as if they are of trusted only. So all these particular things will be controlled by the master brain in the backend, that is nothing but the bot master. Next, spreading through the malware also. There is a chance these particular things can be spread through the malware also. Device become part of the botnet when we has been compromised by phishing mails or else any sort of spam mails or else phishing messages. Anyway, unknowingly we'll be clicking on this particular link. Automatically the attacker will begin control over the entire network. What we will be seeing in the case of ransomware attack also. So they will be mainly used in the case of cyber attacks. Okay, commonly used in order to launch the DOS attacks or else DDoS attacks in order to make some sort of spam campaigns to transmit millions of messages or else mails. Okay, there is a chance of having the data theft or also confidentiality stuffing also. Let me go with a small example. During the when Modi sir, our Prime Minister Modi sir, has given one particular statement saying that like it's a Awas Yojana, that is nothing but the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, some sort of initiative by the Indian government to transfer some sort of amount like 5,000 or else 10,000 before the start of the crop season for the Kharif or else Rabi. So in the month of June or else in the month of November, December, like that. So government of India, that is nothing but Modi, has given one particular statement. So saying that tomorrow, all the farmers will be deposited with some sort of amount. So that particular amount can be used as an investment to make the required farming, some sort of things. Now the attackers, what they will be doing, in order to gain the trust on these farmers, these attackers will be pumping multiple messages or else multiple WhatsApp chat and other things. A normal layman like me will be thinking that okay, this link or also this application has been came for me to provide the total account details or else Aadhaar information, contact numbers, everything. He will be in that particular trance. So the attacker will be developing some sort of websites in such a manner that it will be much more similar to that of the government websites. So you can observe the time when these attackers are attacking. So there's a master brain that has been working in the backend. So I have seen when I am making some sort of investigation, when we worked in the CDT and moreover the forensic laboratory, we got this particular case some 2 to 3 years back. So the attacker has pumped millions of messages to all the farmers who has been already registered for this particular Kisan Yojana. So the normal farmer, as a layman like him, what he'll be doing? He'll be thinking that the message that has been got from the attacker may be of legitimate, and he's gone providing the total account details. So somehow the attacker has got the entire information. Once the amount has been deposited, that has been transferred to the unauthorized persons. So what he'll be doing? He will be collecting the total information, Aadhaar, the basic survey numbers, everything, all the related information to have a trustworthiness to for the Indian government to make the required data transfer. Okay, this information will be collected from multiple farmers, and the attacker will be using those particular information to get the amount to be deposited into his own account instead of going for the other farmers. So this has been happened in India around 2 to 3 years back. There is some sort of situations. So the attackers will be controlling these particular things to create or pumping millions of requests or millions of messages as a mail campaign via using the botnets. So these particular botnets will be mainly operated at the time period when all the triggering alert has been happened, when all the situation has been came. Immediately they will be pumping multiple requests. Here I have even given one particular example when Modi sir has given one particular statement saying that the amount will be going to deposit within 1 day or else tomorrow. So immediately these, as with the triggering alert, as the time period has been elapsed, when the time has been came into existence, immediately the master brain, that is nothing but a bot master, will be pumping multiple requests, making the campaign and get the trustworthiness. Okay, so these are about the different type of situations where these botnets has been working. So it will be mainly working silently without your knowledge in the backend, but it will be collecting the total information. So we should be very much cautious by once we are using the botnets. Next, going with the different types of DOS attacks. The DOS attack, that is nothing but whether we are going with the distributed denial of service or also denial of service attacks, how these particular things will be occurred. So the first one is nothing but the volume-based attacks. So as I said, the attacker will be pumping millions, a massive amount of traffic will be injected at the server terminal, or else at the network traffic, making the network traffic congested, or else the network making the server busy. At that particular instant, often the legitimate sender will not be processed. The legitimate sender request may not be processed. Okay, these may be caused because of the ICMP flooding or else UDP flooding. UDP nothing but the user datagram protocol, which will be used in the case of connectionless services. In the case of ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, which will be pumping messages whenever if any uneven situation has been occurred, like echo packets or else choke packets, different type of things. Okay, next protocol attacks may be used to have the DOS attacks. So they will be mainly exploiting the weakness in the existing protocols what we are using. Instead of going with the HTTPS protocol, if I am using HTTP protocol. Instead of going with the SFTP protocol, if I am going to use the FTP protocol, which don't have the proper security features. If I am going to use a SNMP version 1 and moreover version 2, which don't have the security features. So those particular loopholes in the existing protocols, old versions of the protocol, still I am using. Okay, this may be getting compromised. So that's why only so it's a self-education. Always update your applications. Always update your protocols what we are using with the new thing, so that we don't have these type of attacks. So application layer attack may be occurred. Okay, they will be mainly targeting by sending the legitimate looking request via using the HTTP, like a get, post. Okay, different type of request may be sent. Those not only a single message or else two messages, a flood of messages may be coming to the server, making server busy. Okay, resource exhaustion attacks may be occurred. It will be mainly consuming the different type of system resources. It may be the network resources, Okay, if the network has been totally compromised and millions of requests has been coming into the network, getting network traffic jam or else a congestion. Okay, or else there in some not only at the network layer level, at the network level, there may be affecting the system resources at the server level also. It will be making the server busy. There will be a chance of having the CPU downtime may be there. The memory may be compromised. Okay, automatically it will be so slow downing the server to make the processing of these millions of requests. So the attack that has been occurred at the single source which has been initiated will be called as a DOS attack. If I have been initiated from millions or also multiple sources, then we'll be calling it as a DDoS attacks. There's a small difference between the DOS and more of the DDoS attacks. Okay, so in the lecture video, we'll be mainly talking about the DOS attacks, how they will be occurred. Thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.